Welcome to the Connector Podcast, an ongoing conversation connecting fintechs, banks, and regulators worldwide. Join CEO and founder Koen Vanderhoydonk as you learn more about the latest available trends and solutions in the market. This episode is proudly sponsored by
the Trends Investment Summit 2023.
Welcome to the Connector Podcast, and today we are streaming live from the Investment Summit in Brussels, and I have a special guest with me. His name is Thomas, and he runs his own company, Curvo. Thomas, can you explain a little bit? What do you do?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Koen. So I'm Thomas Ketchel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Curvo, and Curvo is the easiest way for a young Belgian to start investing from 50 euros in index funds.
Super interesting. And what inspired you to create Curvo?
Yeah, so it's me and my co-founder, Jurjen Bronsema. We went to school together in Brussels, and we did a first startup around 10 years ago called Sutori.com. And when we started earning money with that company, we really started to think about what we're going to do with our pension and start investing our money and putting it away.
So early already, thinking about
early.
Your pension.
Yeah, exactly. And we kind of realized that a lot of products in Belgium weren't really suited for what we wanted. And then when we wanted to invest ourselves in the DIY format through a broker, we found that it was actually very difficult in Belgium because there's a lot of tax considerations, and asset allocation isn't super easy topic either. And so that really made us realize that it's quite complicated to start investing and to do good investing well. And that's really why we said, okay, let's create a product to solve this pain.
Nice. That's like the dream of starting a company. There's a problem and you try to solve it.
Yeah, and I think what's helpful is that it's a problem that we have. So it's very easy to have a solution for a problem that we're facing.
Now, obviously, for the listeners, I can see you. But if I may ask the indecent question, how old are you, Thomas?
Yeah, so, me and my co-founder, we're both 34 years old.
Yeah, so pretty young.
Yeah.
Hey, what have been your challenges? Because one of the things you said, it was difficult to explore and to get a license into Belgium. But were there any other challenges that you had, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so naively we thought, okay, we're two guys, we have a first startup, we're going to launch this new product. All we need to do is go to the regulator and they'll say, yeah, this is a great idea. You're going to help a lot of young Belgians invest money. But the reality is that it's extremely regulated and it's very difficult to launch a product. We made the decision to partner with a investment firm in the Netherlands called NNEK. And that was a real challenge in order to find a partner who shared the same vision and who also had the technical capacity to handle an app like Curvo. And so that was a real big challenge, is finding that partner and then launching the product. So fortunately, we managed to get everything in order. But that was really the biggest challenge, was actually getting the product to launch. So it took us, just over 2 years.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. And NNEK, it's a Dutch company. They're pretty big in the Netherlands. What was in it for them?
Yeah, it's a good question. We should maybe ask them. But for them is that they shared our vision. I think for NNEK, they've always had a lot of customers in the Netherlands and a lot of different partners there. But they still didn't have really an access to a Belgian market or a European market. And I think partnering with Curvo really enables them to grow their client base.
Would that then be your value proposition? Is that you actually can scale investments for youngsters around Europe? Is that the ambition/aspiration?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously we've only launched in October 2021. So we're still growing in Belgium. But we've seen that the problem that we faced and a lot of our customers face is actually a European problem. And so there's a lot of different markets.
The young people everywhere, right?
Exactly. And they're underserved and they're not given the right kind of products to put their money away every month. So for us, we're super excited to kind of scale what we've done across Europe.
Well, we're here at the Investment Summit, which is a very traditional business, if you want. Virtually all the buy side of Belgium is here present at this event. And that's a marketing strategy that they have. They distribute to their own clients. But how would that then be different for you, Curvo, actually reaching out to the younger generation? What is the trick?
Yeah, it's funny. So I see, I'm just looking around the hall now, and I see our partners. I see Vanguard, BlackRock. We use, primarily their funds. And so I think why they appreciate Curvo and what we're doing is that we really are reaching a younger clientele. Like our average age, I think, is 34 years old. So it's our age of our customer base.
I'm glad you say our age. My age is beep.
And I think that's what they see. They see that we're able to reach them because we're offering, a very tech-first product. It's very easy to use. And I think that's something that a lot of asset managers, do struggle with, is that technology point and then reaching a young audience.
It's funny that you say it like this. Is it the tech that draws the youngsters, or is it the product?
I think it's the story. I think that's the most important part. It's the way, not really the how of investing, but more the why. Like why should...
So educational, if you want.
Exactly. And I think that's a lot of the issues with where we faced ourselves when we went to our bank to kind of put our money away and like put it invested for the long term, is that they didn't really speak to us in the way that I understood what they were talking about. And I think that's the big difference, is that we're just communicating it in a very clear, educational and informational way.
Okay, makes sense. What does the future hold for you guys?
Yeah, so super excited. Like at the time of recording this, we're at 960 members. We have around 2 million euros in assets under management. And so it's grown a lot in the last year. And so for us, it's just getting to, that 10 million mark, which is a good target for us, and then getting to 2,000 customers in Belgium. That's really our goal for the next year.
Super. Yeah. I wish you all the best, of course.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Maybe jumping a little bit back, because earlier you said that this is your second venture, so I can call you officially a serial entrepreneur. Yeah. So what would be an advice for anyone starting a company, maybe especially towards the youngsters, since this is the topic of today?
No, I think it's a good question. I think the main thing that we've learned from building our second company now is that you got to solve a real problem. And I think that's really the main thing, is that you got to speak to people. You got to figure out what is their actual problem, and then can you provide the best solution for it? And I think that's really driven our first company, but it's also driven Curvo enormously.
Well, maybe it's a question that is a little bit off again, but earlier in our conversations today, you spoke about Silicon Valley Bank, and you said that you were very closely connected to them.
Yeah.
What was your experience, and how did you feel what's happening now?
Yeah, it's very, very topical. So obviously, when so our first company, Sutori, we moved from Belgium to the States. And so opening up a bank account in the United States as a non-American was very difficult because obviously we didn't have a lot of the documentation that they needed. However, we had an American company and we just set it up, and Silicon Valley Bank were actually very helpful for us. So they provided us with all banking services, and then a lot of our early investors also banked with Silicon Valley Bank. So they've always been a very good partner for technology startups. And so it was, really sad to see everything that had happened. But fortunately, the UK and the US government have taken action, and everyone's deposits are protected. And I'm happy to say that we got access to our account as well with Sutori. So that's great. Which
is a great thing, because that could have caused a tremendous avalanche within the financial industry, but specifically for fintechs.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we're fortunate, with Curvo, we... obviously, our deposit account with Curvo members is Rabobank in the Netherlands, and so it wasn't affected at all by any of the Silicon Valley banks. Only obviously the financial markets, which are still
a lot of product placement today, Thomas. Do you get extra points for this?
I wish. I hope they'll listen to this.
Exactly. Well, that's our job, right? We're here today at the Investment Summit. What brings you here, and what are you expecting to get back today from the summit?
Yeah, so obviously thank you for the invitation, and thank you for allowing me to speak on this podcast. But I think for us, primarily...
Well, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, what we're looking for is to meet people in the industry. So obviously Vanguard, BlackRock, I've mentioned them already. but also
yet again a product placement.
but also the other fund managers and then the other companies who are working on solving specific problems. I just think it's a great networking event.
Totally agree. Last but not least, I mean, there's a lot of not young people around here, but if they're listening to this podcast, how should they become a client?
Yeah, so it's very easy to become a client with Curvo. We have a partnership with It's Me. So if you're listening in Belgium, you can just download the app from any of the app stores and then press that It's Me button, and then you can start your account opening with Curvo. And you should be able to open an account in about 5 to 6 minutes.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thomas, I would like to thank you so much for being in this podcast. It was a real pleasure. And I wish you all the best today at the event. And hopefully we'll meet all of our objectives today.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you very much also to the listeners. And please stay tuned for more news about FinTech on the Connector podcast. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Connector podcast. To connect and keep up to date with all the latest, head over to www.jointheconnector.com or hit subscribe via your podcast streaming platform.